Hokanson, I think of all the agents, and there are like 700 or 800 real estate agents in the Rogue Valley. And I think of one who's just one of the top guys is Jared Hokanson, because you deal with so many different aspects of real estate today. And so give us your take of where we are today.
It's an exciting time now in real estate. It is. There's a lot of movement. Kyle talked a little bit about that. You know, we've seen right now, for example, as of today even, there's over 2,000 homes on the market here in Jackson County. 2,000 homes.
And how does that compare? Because we don't have the statistics.
And we're down. We're down
okay.
significantly, actually, from previous years as well. We peaked in about 2008, and so we're down significantly off of that. And so that creates a really nice buyer's market as well, because a lot of the homes that are competitively priced, because the prices have continued to drop, a lot of the homes that are competitively priced, we're seeing a lot of activity on those, and a lot of them end up in multiple offer type of situations. We saw, as Kyle mentioned, kind of that influx right before the April 30th first-time home buyer credit and move-up credit expired. And then it was interesting because like the next week we're all kind of sitting on pins and needles wondering what was going to happen, and not much happened the week after that. But then all of a sudden, the week after that, things picked right back up to normal. So that's what I'm seeing on a personal level. I
know that we've shown many times in this show, when you open the Mail Tribune, you think you've hit the end of the foreclosure, the distressed property kinds of things that have affected so many people and so much of this business in all aspects of it. What is your take on the distressed property, the bank-owned and the short-sale property, the people in trust?
I was going to say, nationally it is leveling off, and we had the opportunity to listen to Mr. Yun, the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors, about a month ago. He came here to the Valley, which was a real treat for that, and he talked a lot about the stabilization that's happening across the country, and especially with the markets that have just been really hit hard by those the distressed properties, the foreclosures and the pre-foreclosure short sales and that type of thing. Here locally, we're continuing to see it's been right around 50%. Last month, for example, it was about 38% of what was selling in the marketplace, so that's down a little bit.
I was going to say that'd be down almost 10%, because the last show we did here, it was still
it's been
distressed properties were 25% of the listings and half the sales. So that's changing, you're saying, a little bit.
It did last month. And of course, they'll average it out through the quarter and things when the final statistics come out. And so that's something that we're watching really closely. There is a figure that I've been watching really closely as well, and that is what we call the notices of default. Those are up significantly, and that's a notice of foreclosure, if you will, from the time that an attorney files a notice of foreclosure for a lender till the time that a property forecloses here in Oregon is about 4 months. And that is up pretty dramatically. Just in the first 5 months of this year, we've seen over 1,100 of those, which is an all-time record.
And that bodes, what does that tell us in the future? So what does that tell us, though?
It doesn't directly translate. It does translate. Those properties that get foreclosed on, in this market anyway, banks you have 120 days for sure to go through that process of foreclosure. When I said it doesn't directly translate, is it'll be months before those properties will actually be on the market. It could be as much as a year from the time that they're foreclosed on. And that is significant because we are going through our inventory in the Rogue Valley just like we are in the rest of the nation. So Jared's statement about the inventory being around 2,000 is a result of many factors. How many sales are occurring, how many new properties are entering the market, just about none, for example. So if you have supply being absorbed by new buyers coming in and the supply not being created, then that's going to create a situation which is more positive for the seller at that point.
Right.
For example, about 20% of the inventory, the homes that are available out there on the market right now, are over $500,000. 5 months, there's only about eight per month selling in that price range.
There's not very many selling in that
not many selling.
So that's really significant. So when you ask what's that doing to the market, that's one of the key things that I'm watching as well. Is we're seeing some real top-heavy numbers as far as those goes. Those what I would call expensive properties, 300 and above right now is seeming to be expensive to a lot of people. Really 400 and above. We're still seeing quite a bit of activity in the 300 range as well. But what's really driving the market right now and what seems to be selling the quickest are those that are 200 and under, 150 and under especially. Those are still a lot of those first-time home buyers. We're also seeing a ton of investors that are coming out. There's a lot of people that have been able to sock away money during these times, and they're paying cash for properties and have money to put down, and so we're seeing a lot of investor activity as well.
And you both have said, if I hear you both right, that you begin to turn around a market like this when investors come back into the market, and they were gone for a while, weren't they?
Right.
They weren't doing that. So you're seeing investors come back, and that is a good sign. I assume
Well,
that's a pretty good sign.
we've all heard the words, does it pencil? And quite frankly, in the Rogue Valley, as many areas of the country, the appreciation of real estate was driving the market, so that people weren't looking so much as to how they could make money on a monthly basis through cash flow. They're instead looking at how much money can I make over a year's period, 2 years period, in the appreciation. And if that was a big number, which it was, then who cares about cash flow? Well, that is really a violation of good real estate investment when you think about it. Appreciation should probably be the last thing we look at. Now we're seeing investors that can come in, get a mortgage on a property, and have a positive cash flow at the end of the month. So they can put their money in and make money. And now let's look at the alternative investments. We've got the stock market. And we've got put your money into a CD or a bank and make a half a point.
Yeah.
You can make a whole lot more in real estate if you know what you're doing. You need a professional to help you along the way.
People are still coming here. What's your take on that?
They are. It's amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
every day I'm getting inquiries from California, from Louisiana, from Washington, from Alaska, from Utah, from all over the place right now, and it's amazing to me. And I think, you know, a few years ago, back in '05, when we peaked in the market, a lot of people, when they looked at moving to the Valley, they said, "Boy, I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford a place when I do get here." And now people, just today I spoke with someone. Well, you know, we're thinking we might just end up moving right into a place instead of renting for a while to see what's going to happen. They want to take advantage of the interest rates that are out there and of the great values that are out there. Right now, just in Jackson County today, there's 119 homes under $100,000. Which for
119.
Which for somebody that's been renting, and if they can qualify for a loan, if they've got a credit score in the 580 plus type of range, there's FHA loans that are available for 3.5% down. That's phenomenal. They can almost do a straight trade-off for what they're paying for rent. And then under 150,000, there's over 300 homes in the Valley under 300,000, or under 150,000. And so it's fabulous for people that are looking to get into the market and be able to have the American dream of a home.
The buyers have a great advantage right now.
They sure do. It's still continuing that way. At some point, it will flip.
Yeah, it will.
And I think right now, what I'm hearing a lot from a lot of agents and a lot of buyers is the fact that I better buy now. A totally different attitude than a year ago, because they're starting to think, how does it get any better than this? And they're starting to see positive signs on the horizon, the national news, the local news, what have you.
The time here, interest rates remain, surprisingly to me, I know to you, Jared, as well, below 5%. It's because, why has that happened? I had thought a month ago, we were expecting them to go up when the government was stopping buying mortgage-backed securities. What happened? Why have they stayed low or even dropped from that period of time?
It's very simple. There's more people buying those treasuries and those bonds now, what they call mortgage-backed securities. And the fortunate thing is it's coming from a broader base. Whenever there's instability in the world, we saw it in Greece, that there was a fear that it was going to spread throughout Europe. We are still, the United States is still the place, the safe haven for money.
Right. It's going to be a big summer. I think summer is going to be, or the weather's terrible, but it's going to be better. And I think we're going to have an interesting summer by the time I think we go the next few months.
We are. We're seeing a lot of activity right now. There's a lot of people out there looking for some of the great priced homes, and we're seeing that from within the state, from within the area, from without the state. People that are moving into the area, they're looking to snatch up some of those values that are out there. Both investors and buyers that are moving up and upgrading their homes, and first-time home buyers. Kind of a variety, almost across the board.
There's a lot of stuff.
It is. There's a lot of activity right now, and there's some fabulous values. I just yesterday I was looking at some. I'm like, I couldn't believe that some of the prices, some of the things are selling for.
Whether you're buying or really whether you're selling too, because sellers are out there having to deal with this and try to put prices on, and you both agree that really what sells ultimately in the end is a price. That's the biggest factor. Isn't that still true?
I think what everybody's saying is we're in a price war and a beauty contest. You've got to have a beautiful home. People really are competing on both scales. They want to keep their house looking nice, cleaned up, what have you, and also they got to get the price where it'll sell.
Yeah,
so,
that is quite a balancing act.
It is.